So in this lesson, we're going to review percentages and how to work with them, which is one of the things that I wanted to do at the beginning of this course. So the first thing that we'll talk about is the meaning of the word percent. Well, percent just means per 100. So it's a way of examining a quantity and comparing it to 100. So an example, of course, that you're quite familiar with is that sales tax, for example. If you purchase something at a store in Ontario, you're probably going to pay 13% sales tax. So basically 13% means 13 out of 100. So we can look at 13% and say that for every $100 you spend, there is $13 in tax on that. Let's look at a few examples. Okay, so in this example, we've got someone, Heidi, who has a gross pay of $3,250. So gross pay means the amount of money she takes home before taxes or any deductions are taken off her paycheck. So we're going to say that on this paycheck, $51.35 was deducted for EI, or employment insurance. And the question is, what percentage of her pay was deducted for EI? So basically, what percentage is $51.35 compared to $3,250? So the first thing to do here is to divide. So I'm going to take the $51.35. I'm going to divide it by 3,250. Okay, when you do that, you should find you get 0.0158. Now let's just talk about what that means. So basically how you can think of this is what you've done is you've figured out this is kind of for every dollar she made, $0.0158 were deducted for EI. So I'm taking this value here, I'm kind of changing it to a unit rate. Okay, so for every $1 she made, $0.0158 was taken off. Now we don't want to know how much was taken off for every dollar. We want that as a percent. So we want to know for every $100 how much does she lose. So we just take that number and we multiply it by 100 or 100%. Okay, and it changes it to 1.58%, which is the final answer. So divide the numbers to get into a unit rate, that's like a per one, okay, and then multiply by 100 to get it out of 100, 1.58%. It's very similar to something you've probably done before when you get a test back. Okay, imagine you had 45 out of 65 in a test. What's that mark as a percentage? We'll take 45, divide it by 65, and multiply by 100. Sometimes we write 100%. And you should get the answer, which is very close to 69.2%. So in this case, your 45 divided by 65 basically tells you, I mean, that's 0.692 when you do 45 divided by 65. Basically tells you how many marks you got right for every mark on the test. So you got 0.69 marks for every mark available, times it by 100, and you get 69.2%, the mark you would have gotten if the test was out of 100 instead of 65. In this next example, sometimes you might have a number like 90, and you want to know what 17% of that is. So here's how we do that. 17% means 17 out of 100. So if we take 17% and we divide it by 100, we get the number 0.17. And 0.17 is out of 1. So you basically have changed 17%, 17 out of 100, or 17 over 100, and change it to a regular number, 0.17. And regular numbers are out of 1, they're not out of 100. Now if you have 17% of 90, you have 0.17 for every 1, and we have that 90 times. So we multiply 0.17 times 90 is going to give us the answer, which is exactly 15.3. Okay, same thing with 13% of 25, 13%, 13 out of 100, 0.13, and then multiply that by 25, will give you 3.25. Okay, in this next one, we've got a pair of jeans, $45.99, and they're on sale at 10% off. So they're going to subtract 10% of the price. So the first thing we could do to answer this question is to take 10% of $45.99, which we do by multiplying 0.1 times $45.99, which gives us $4.60. So that's what we sometimes call the discount. Okay, so we can calculate a sale price by taking $45.99 and subtracting $4.60. Which gives us $41.39. So that's the answer for the sale price of the jeans is $41.39. Now, we've also asked for the price of the jeans with tax. So tax is 13%. So we calculate 13%. You only calculate the tax on the sale price. Okay, you don't pay tax on the regular price. You pay a tax on the price that you actually paid. So that would be 0.13 times $41.39. Just $5.38. Okay, so adding $5.38 to $41.39 gives you the total with tax. Sorry, I'm kind of running out of room in this example here. It gives you the total and answers the whole question. Now, I'd like to point out that there's another way that we could do this whole question. It's a lot quicker. So I'm just going to clear the screen here, and I'll show you the alternative answer, which is quite a bit quicker. So the jeans cost $45.99, and they're on sale for 10% off. So what that means is they're going to subtract 10% of the price, and you're going to pay 90% of the regular price. So really, we could have just taken 90% of $45.99 or multiplied that by 0.9. And if we'd done that, sure enough, we get $41.39, the sale price, in one step. Rather than taking 10%, calculating that and subtracting it, we can do it all in one step. Then we can calculate the sales tax and add that. But there's a quicker way to calculate sales tax. In Ontario, you pay 13% sales tax. So every item you see in a store in Ontario, you can think of as being 113% of the cost, 100% of the cost plus 13% sales tax. So really, to calculate a total with sales tax, you can just multiply by 1.13. It's kind of like saying that for every dollar you pay for a good in Ontario, you actually pay $1.13 because of the 13% sales tax. So this will actually give you the total with tax in one step, as opposed to calculating the tax separately and then adding it. Just a little bit of a shortcut. It gives you $46.77 in one step. So there is an alternative answer to question 4 there. Real estate agents often make money on commission, so they actually earn money based as a percentage of sales. So in this example, we have a real estate agent who sells a house costing $355,000, and they make 2.5% commission on that. So this real estate agent is going to make 2.5% of $355,000. So we calculate that by taking 0.025, okay, 2.5% per 100, so I just divide by 100, and multiply by $355,000 will give you the answer to this question, which is $8,875 for the answer. Now, slightly more difficult question. Suppose in another house, the real estate agent earns $5,600 of commission. How much did the property cost? I mean, one thing we can tell just by looking is it must be less than $355,000 because she didn't make as much commission on this home. So how do we figure out exactly how much it is? Well, imagine repeating this calculation up here, okay? But in this case, you don't know this answer. You know that you basically have 2.5% of some house price. I'm just going to say P for price is equal to 5,600. We can kind of see that this is actually an equation we can solve. 2.5% is 0.025 multiplied by P, the price of the home, gives us $5,600. And now we just have a simple one-step equation. Divide both sides of the equation by 0.025, and you'll get P is equal to 5,600 divided by 0.025, which gives us $224,000. Okay, the last question in this lesson. Suppose the population of Saugeen Shores is 12,600, and it's expected that the population is going to grow by 1.5% each year. What would the population of Saugeen Shores be in 1 year or in 2 years? I'm going to present two different solutions to this question, very similar to the question involving sales tax. So let's look at the population of Saugeen Shores in 1 year. 1.5% of 12,600 represents the growth in the population. We calculate that just like this, okay? 0.015, 1.5% as a decimal, divided by 100, times 12,600, gives us 189. So there's 189 people that move into Saugeen Shores in a year, or in this first year. So the new population after 1 year will be 12,600 plus the 189 people, which gives us 12,789 for after 1 year. However, there is a quicker solution. In this solution, we take the 12,600 and we multiply it by 1.015. So we're basically saying that we have 101.5% of the population. We have 100% of the 12,600 plus the 1.5%. That's going to give you 12,789 all in one step. Just a little bit quicker. For the second year, you can do the same thing. However, this time, or after 2 years, I should say, you're going to take your 12,789, and that's going to grow by 1.5% as well. So we multiply by 1.015, kind of like the same way that we can calculate sales tax by multiplying by 1.13. It gives us the total plus the 1.5% increase, 12,981, very close to that after 2 years. So this shortcut idea, not only does it save you some time, it's quicker, it does become very important later on in the course when we start looking at exponential growth. So you do kind of need to understand that shortcut. We will go through it again, of course. So that's the end of the examples. And you have some of these questions that I'd like you to try. These don't need to be handed in. It's just a matter of you checking your understanding. Okay.